through the melodic song Devoted to You. I'm going to record the MIDI to the MPC, and then I'm going to walk through taking that MIDI and then sampling a drum break from the internet and then kind of reinventing the performance we did with the melodics. So I'm going to play the melodic song and try to get new stars in it, record the MIDI performance into the MPC, and then I'm going to go sample a drum break from the internet and then assign it to that performance, basically, and just kind of walk through those different steps and show how to do that stuff with the MPC. So here we go. I'm going to start up the melodics now, and I'm going to do this song here, Devoted to You, which is going to go over the basic syncopation. I just want to get I've only played it once. I want to try to get a better star in it. So for this track, it's going to be the kick, snare, and hi-hat, and the kick and snare are going to be the left pointer finger. The hi-hat's going to be the right pointer finger, so it's just going to be pretty simple as far as the patterning goes, but I just want to cover that because I know my video screen blocks in melodics where it shows you which fingers you're using, so this is how it's going to be. And I'm going to go to practice mode first to get the beats per minute, which is 82. I want to make the sequence I'm recording in the MPC match, so I'm going to take this down to 82. I'm going to hold shift so it scrolls quicker. So I got beats per minute down to 82 down there. I'm going to come down to MIDI and turn it on to 1A. I'm in the output A on the MPC. If you go back to episode 1, I'll show you exactly how to hook that up to your computer if you haven't done it already. So just go back there if you need help with that. So we're at the point where I'm now triggering the sound in melodics, so we're good there. We're ready to play. So without actually going through this one, I'm going to just go straight to performance mode and give it a shot. Probably have to try it a few times, but once I feel like I'm going to get 2 or 3 stars, I'll go ahead and record the sequence, but I'm not going to be recording just yet. So start over. I didn't like that one, but I got a feel for the track .65, I guess not terrible for the first time, but I need to get at least an 80 to get 2 stars and 90 to get 3, which is where I really want to be. And then all of them would be platinum. You need to get all greens. If it's colored, you're either late or early. So the purple is late, the orange is early, and I had quite a bit early in there, so I gotta get my timing a little bit better on that. So here we go. 56, so I did worse on that one. Gonna just keep trying. Hopefully do better to where it actually makes sense to record the MIDI and then walk through how to remake it with some samples. Alright, I'm going to record this next one no matter what. I got the rhythm okay, and I can use the timing correct to fix anything I screw up, so I'm going to hit play and record at the same time like you would the old school tape deck, and then I'm going to be recording the MIDI here, play through it in the game, and based on how I'm doing so far, I'll probably have to use timing correct. But I'm going to come up here and turn off timing correct on the recording, and I'll fix it after if I need to, which is pretty likely. Oh. Here. Alright, got 3 stars. I guess nothing like recording to make you do a little better. So I won the Offbeat Kicks record, which Melodics gives you these records which give you some videos that you can watch based on the lessons you're doing. So by shifting the standard kicks of beat 1 and 3 of the basic groove to the offbeats, beats 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, we can suspend or elongate the rhythm momentum of a piece of music. So they just kind of give you these to show you what you're learning about, and it's pretty handy. But we're done with Melodics now, so I'm going to come over to the MPC itself and take a look at the sequence. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut part of this first sequence out. I'm going to take that whole first bar out. I know I kind of did bad there anyway, so I'm going to hit Mode, Pad 13 for sequence edit, hit bars, go over to delete, go and delete the first bar. So we're a little cleaner up over there. I'm going to use the bars button here to just step through the different bars till the end. So we got a little dead space at the end there. I'm going to shorten the sequence. The sequence 18, we really want a 16 bar sequence anyway. So I'm going to cut it down to 16. And we still got a little bit of dead space there at the end, so I'm also just going to I'm going to take a look at the bars. I'm going to copy one of the bars and just replace bar 16 with one of the bars that I think looks good. So let's see what we got. I got a good feeling about bar 13, so I'm gonna hold down copy, highlight the pieces I need. I just need these pads here, so I'm just copying these pads. I could copy the whole bar though, but I just want to show you how to use this copy screen here. Let go, it's copied. I'm gonna use the bars bar to tab over to bar 16. Hit paste. And now we've got a clean 16 bar loop. So we've got the kick, hi-hat, and snare. So I'm still playing the sounds through Melodics. These are the sounds that Melodics has, and I'm going to exit the song so it stops doing that. I could turn off MIDI too, but either way, I just want to get it to where we're not working with those sounds anymore. Now I'm going to come over to, I'm using freesound.org just because I know I'm not going to get hit off of copyright or anything if I'm using these sounds, so that's why I'm using it for this example. I already pre-searched this beat. We're going to use this one as the example to sample, but I'm going to just play it real quick. So we're going to start by sampling that and try to apply some of those sounds to the pads, and we'll go from there. So to do the sample, we're going to do destructive sampling, which on the MPC 1000, there's two types of sampling. There's destructive sampling, which creates new samples completely, like separate files, different copies of the file, which you kind of do more with in a way, but it also takes more memory. So you gotta kind of balance the amount of memory you have with the MPC. I've got the RAM upgraded, so you get about, I think, 11.5 or 12 minutes of sound samples that you can load basically. So sometimes you gotta really worry about that, sometimes you don't. But then there's also non-destructive sampling, which lets you just take one long sample and you don't actually chop it, you just define regions. But again, we're going to be doing the destructive sampling. So I'm going to hit mode record, which is pad 5, and you'll see here I'm going to turn the gain down. I was catching a little noise. The record gain, it basically just adds volume to the input that you have. So I'm going to start with the record gain around here. When we sample, we do want the sound to come, the peaks to come towards the end but not really past the threshold. So I'm going to hit play, and that seems kind of low. Can hit record, turn the record gain up. So that went too high. I hit the end already there, so I'm gonna hit reset peak. Turn it down a little bit. And I didn't quite get all the way to the end, so this looks like it's probably a pretty good level to sample at. So I'm gonna hit record. It's gonna be waiting for an input signal here, so you don't get a bunch of dead noise at the front. It needs to pass this threshold here first before it'll start recording. So you can change this threshold, but right now that looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to just hit play. Stop. And I'm going to keep it, but I'm also going to rename it. So I'm just going to name it, I guess, 96 BPM hip hop. And you can use the dial here to pick, so you would just dial over, hit right, dial over, hit right, or you can use the pads to type it in, which is a little faster once you get used to it. So I'm gonna hit H I P H O. Then I have to hit right because P is on the same key. So P, and I'm gonna hit enter. Keep, and now we have that sample. So I'm gonna hit mode trim. It's the only sample we have loaded up, so it comes right at the beginning. You can see all the different peaks of the different sounds there, and you can also use the up and down arrows to get it depending on the sound, just change the waveforms depending to show how it looks. It makes it a little easier to cut up sometimes. So first thing I'm going to do is just play it. And it sounds a little quiet, so what I'm going to do is go to Edit, Normalize, okay, so now I'm going to go to Chop. I'm going to try auto. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You can adjust the parameters here to make it change the way it behaves. It really kind of depends on the sample. This one looks like pretty clean breaks, so we'll see how it goes. And so what you're seeing on here is the start and the end of each region. Each chop it did is a different region. So we're on region 1 here, region 2. And I honestly do not really like the way that the auto came out. So we're going to do it manually. I'm going to hit slice and choose the number of slices. 16 is how many pads you have, so that's a good starter, but I don't think we actually have 16 hits here probably. So I'm going to scroll this until I think 12 looks good. I'll add some slices if I need to, but so I'm going to do 12 regions. Come over to the beginning here, and I'm gonna just gonna eyeball it basically. I gotta decide here if I wanna divide this into smaller hits or have it be a sample of just, yeah, probably, to be honest. So I'm gonna hit divide here, and that divided that long stretch into 2. So I'm just kind of eyeballing the different samples, trying to make them into separate sounds. And I'm just going to keep going down the line. Just get them all chopped up and then assigned to the pads, and then we'll remake the song we did in Melodics using these. I'm not going to be... I could get real into it and like zooming in and being very in-depth, but I just kind of want to show the example of the process here. I may do that another time. So I'm definitely going to divide this one. Can divide this one as well. And let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go to edit. And I'm going to convert it to sliced samples. If we did patch phrases, I'll get into that in another one. That kind of helps you change it if you do time stretching and stuff. But I'm just going to do sliced samples for today, which will just cut all these up into individual samples. We go to create new program, yes, which is going to assign it to the pads for us automatically. So now we've got the program with the samples we took from the internet. So I'm going to take the sequence and I'm going to rename this sequence to the name of the song and save the sequence as well. But this is the sequence we just recorded from Melodics. So if I highlight the name and then turn the dial, it brings up this rename thing. So I'm going to rename sequence 01 to, what was it called? Devoted to You, that's what it was. So I'm going to go through and use the pads again. Oops. D, E, B, O, T, E, D, and then I always just use the pad for numbers. You can use the numerical key, and you'd probably save some time. I probably got to get used to it, but enter, close, So we got the sequence name devoted to you, which is the MIDI from what we played in Melodics. We've got a 16-bar loop there. And then we got the sounds we got from the internet, which we've already got a kick where the kick is. Do we have anything that sounds kind of hi-hatty or... Not really, to be honest. We need to pull a hi-hat or a snare somewhere, so... So what I'm going to do is go back over to freesound.org and we're going to find a hi-hat and a snare. So it doesn't have to be from what we initially, this beat we initially pulled. I just kind of wanted to use that as an example for the sampling. But let's just search for hi-hat. I'm going to search for a closed hi-hat and make it a little more narrow. Alright, I'm going to just go with that one. So I'm going to go back to record mode. Record. Hit record. Stop. And I'm going to name this one hi-hat. And I'm going to tell it to assign it to pad 3 in the hip hop program that we have made already. Hit F4 to assign to pad. Alright, now we need to do the same with the snare. Alright, I'm going to go with this one here. So I'm going to go back to record. Hit record. Stop. And now I'm going to name this one snare. Probably I should use some kind of shorthand, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to do the whole name snare. And I'll add 01 to the end. And I want this one to go on to pad 2, again with that hip hop program that we made. And I'm going to hit F4 to assign to pad. Okay, so we've got the kick, hi-hat, and snare made just like we did, or sorry, laid out just like we did in Melodics, and we've got the MIDI performance there here on track 1 of the sequence devoted to you. So I'm gonna hit play now that we have those samples on, and it should sound kind of similar but different. Let's see what's going on here. It doesn't seem like our kick's working right. So I'm hitting mode program. Okay. So I'm gonna watch it play along. It doesn't seem like the kick's hitting right, and I'm not sure why, to be honest. There we go. So the program was in mono mode, so that's why it wasn't sounding right at first. So I hit mode program, and then I went up here and turned it into poly, and now the sounds didn't overlap on top of each other. So that's what was wrong at first. So I'm gonna hit play start. And remember, I didn't really have the best timing on this performance for Melodics, so I'm gonna play through it as it was performed with no timing correct. Then I'm gonna apply the timing correct. Okay, let me. Okay, so now I'm going to go to timing correct, which is off. I'm going to change it to 1/16, and then fix, do it, and I'm going to hit play start, and it's probably just going to sound a little cleaner. So that's definitely sounding a bit better, like just as far as cleaning it up and everything. Sometimes the MIDI, you end up doing a good job enough timing wise that it's nice to have the no timing correction, but in this case I really just wasn't hitting it that right, so timing correction's helping. But sometimes it's nice to have that natural sound. So I'm going to come back over to the song though, and here I need to go to, I got 3 stars on, so I'm trying to find it again. And you can tell that sounds similar, like we kind of remade the beat, but that background drum beat there is basically what we performed that and kind of recreated here with. It's got a different sound to it now because we sampled the instruments off the internet, but we were able to take that lesson and just kind of redo it. And I'm thinking, what I'm curious about here is perhaps I'm going to give this a shot. I haven't tried this before, but what I'm going to try to do is, now that we've recreated with our own drum sounds, I'm going to record their background beat and then add it to the second track here. So I'm going to go to, here, let me show you. So I'm going to just play this. It doesn't have the kick, hi-hat, or snare anymore. So I'm going to record that and just play it in the back of the drum beat, and we'll kind of recapture some of that feel from this track. So let me go to mode, record. So once this is done recording, I'm just going to lay this down underneath our drum beat, and we'll have effectively rebuilt the song that we were practicing in with Melodics. But So I'm gonna rename this to just, I'll name it background beat, or I'll shorten that a little bit, but and I am gonna actually assign this to, I'm gonna put this on bank B here. So you got the 4 banks, so you've got the 16 pads, but then you multiply that by 4. This isn't really, I want to keep it, since it's just gonna be used to trigger the background beat. I'm gonna put it on bank B, where I'm not really doing anything right now. So I've assigned it to the pad. Now I'm gonna go So I'm going to go to mode, step edit. Actually, I'll do it in the grid edit. So we're going to go to track 2. And I'm just going to hit overdub, which is going to record our pad entries there. I'm just going to hit pad B1, which is where we've triggered it. So that's the background pad. And now I'm going to go to main. I'm going to rename track 2 just to differentiate it. I'm going to name it the same way I did with the background beat. I'm going to name it BG. R D and enter. So track 2 is now called background. I'm going to rename track 1 as well, just to differentiate them and give a little bit of description on the tracks themselves. So this is going to be the drums. Okay, so we got track 1 drums, track 2 background, and if I did this right, if I hit play now, we should have our beat that we sampled off the internet, but we've also recorded that background beat from the game. So let's see how it turned out. See what's going on here. So I'm going to go over to track 2. Oh, it doesn't seem like I signed it right, so let's figure out what's going on there. I'm going to go to sample B1 background beat, main. Okay, so it is there. Alright, so I've kind of got it stepping over itself right now, but we do have it going. So I'm going to let that play out and take another look at the program here and just see if I missed anything else. I'm gonna just go through all the events here. So what you're seeing here is the step edit screen, and that shows literally every pad hit that we have, and I'm on track 1 right now. So move over to track 2. You can see we just have the 1 right off the bat. It just hits that B1, which is where we have it. I'm not sure why it wasn't assigned there initially. I think I must have screwed something up there. But so we've got the background beat on pad B1, which is by itself on track 2. And we got the drum beats on track 1, which are all separated themselves onto the drums. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit play, and let's see. In fact, let me go to so we can watch it play through. So this is the grid edit screen. I'm gonna hit play, and let's just see how our rebuilt track sounds. Hold on there. Alright, so we got background beat on B1. We got the 96 hip hop program on tracks 1 and 2. Something's stopping the, well, I guess let me go to trim and make sure we didn't get too little of it, but that background beat's not going long enough. I'm just making sure it's on poly, it's on one shot. I'm definitely doing something wrong with the program here. I'm just trying to figure out what exactly is stopping it from playing in the main sequence there. but I'm gonna try. You don't necessarily have to have it on track 2. I'm gonna put it on track 1 to simplify things. I think we're still gonna have this problem though. So, mode, step edit, insert, note. Well, I'm gonna figure out what's going on there. Like I said, that was kind of a spur of the moment. Let's just try to do that to make the song sound better, but that seems weird to me. If you know what's going on, let me know in the comments and we'll see what it is. But it's on one shot, so it should be just playing through. Well, something's going on there to limit the length on this one when we're playing in the program, so I'm going to have to figure out what that is, and I'll bring it up in the next video. But I think for now, I think that the main thing is that we did go over how to do the performance in Melodics, record the MIDI, and then resample the beat and recreate the drum groove. So I got to figure out why it's not letting me make that whole background sample run, but we'll cover that in the next episode. So I think that's it for now. If you got any questions or is there anything you want to see specifically, just let me know in the comments.